They lit me up for nothing. No busted tail light, no rolling stop, just me. A black woman in a clean sedan rolling through a neighborhood where folks glance at you like you just touched their fence. Two cruisers eased up behind me, that slow hunter swagger. Step out of the vehicle, the younger one said, voice trying to be deep. I did hands up, slow talking through every move like I taught 100 interns to do. Purse on the hood, phone on the roof, keys by the wiper. He yanked my bag anyway. Papers scattered across wet asphalt briefs. I wrote subpoenas. I signed in, mixing with glass from my cracked screen. Turn around, hands behind your back. Click. Cold steel on warm skin. Name, the older one barked. Dr. Camille Hart, he smirked. Oh, we got a doctor of what coupons, I didn't argue. 20 years in court taught me when to talk and when to gather details, tone the tiny choices people make when they think no one can hold them to it. The cage in the back of the cruiser smelled like bleach and old fear. I watched the raindrops jitter on the glass and counted my breaths. Stay calm. Document. Let them hand me the rope. They're so sure I don't see. Pinecrest Precinct was bright like a hospital and just as cold. Fluorescence buzzing. Fingerprint glass squeaking under my fingers. Phones are down, the sergeant said, not looking at me. Try tomorrow. The younger cop, Trent, leaned on the wall grinning. Undesirable elements keep drifting into River Point, Sarge. We're just tidying up. A detective across the room, short hair, steady eyes, watched me in that way people do when their gut is louder than their orders. She caught the way I answered questions, the exact language of the patients. She lifted a brow like, who are you? Remove your jacket, the older one, Malloy said. I did. He clocked the tailoring and said, drug money buys nice things. You didn't find drugs in my car, I told him quietly. He didn't answer. He just held up a baggie a half hour later, like a game show prize. Well, looky here. And that's when I knew we were past stupid and deep and dangerous. They put me in a cell the size of a bathroom. Concrete bench, steel toilet, the whole learn your place starter kit. The detective came over, name tag read. Alvarez kept her voice low. You said you're an attorney. State chief counsel, I said. Public integrity, civil rights. She blinked once like a camera shutter catching something important. What do you work on? Police corruption, I said, level as a table. You could watch the color drain right out of her face like someone pulled the plug. She didn't run, didn't blurt, just turned, walked to a computer and started typing like she was disarming a bomb. Through the bars, I could see the Captain Reed get pulled into her glass-walled office. Alvarez pointed at her screen. Reed went still. Here's the thing folks never understand. Systems watch you back. When people with certain clearances don't hit their check-ins, alarms trip. While they were joking about undesirables, my absence pinged the night desk at the Justice Bureau. Someone called my father. Yeah, that Judge Hart who doesn't panic, he prepares. And somewhere across town, black sedans started whispering toward Pinecrest like a storm line. Captain Reed finally came to the cell door with that smile cops use when they want you to forget the last hour. Ms. Hart, doctor, I said. Dr. Hart, we've had a misunderstanding. We'll release you and expunge. That's not how civil rights violations work, I told her, and the words hung in the fluorescent hum like church bells. She tried again in the interview room. Coffee rings on the table camera in the corner blinking its red dot. Reasonable suspicion for a stop, Reed said, followed by a lawful search. Reasonable suspicion of what I asked. She didn't answer. You know, River Point's crime rate is lower than your own precincts. You know, there was no signal violation, no BOLO, no probable cause. Implanting is a crime, Captain. So is perjury when you write it up cute for a judge. Alvarez sat there, hands folded so tight her knuckles went white. Are we already under investigation, she asked, like she knew the answer would set the building on fire. 8 months, I said. Wiretaps. Asset forfeiture audits, internal chat logs, 41 names on a list and counting. Reed stood up so fast her chair scraped. She paced, exhaled, tried to put it back in the box. You can't rewrap a grenade. She left the room to make a call. The call made her. This is Deputy Counsel Nora Park, the speakerphone said. Release Dr. Hart. Secure the scene. Do not destroy evidence. Federal partners are inbound. Inbound sounds casual like mail until you hear the tires. Sun wasn't up yet when the glass doors breathe open and in walked Reality US. Marshall's Public Integrity Unit, folks with jackets that don't need explaining. Everyone to the briefing room. Agent Marcus Bell said, polite as a funeral director. The night shift shuffled in under the projector. They ran the tape dash cam of my stop clean as a whistle until it wasn't. You could hear Trent's voice on their own mic. Make it stick. You could hear Reed on a wire she didn't know existed. Keep numbers up in River Point, the donors like it tidy. Then came the bank records, little deposits that matched little seizures, a graph that turned into a trap. And finally, they asked me to stand. Last night, I said I was stopped without cause, detained without counsel, and shown evidence that wasn't in my car. This isn't about my feelings. This is about a pattern we've documented for 8 months. I just had the bad luck or the good timing to meet it head on. Silence, the kind that makes you hear electricity. Bell read out names like a roll call in reverse. Sergeant Daniel Malloy, Officer Kyle Trent, Captain Laura Reed. Marshall stepped in. Miranda cuffs the whole choreography, only this time the steel landed on wrists that had been so sure they'd never feel it. Court wasn't a movie, no slow claps, no big speeches. It was boxes checked, evidence admitted, defense attorneys doing what they could with a table full of receipts. Judge Brenner looked over his glasses and quoted the Constitution like it still mattered, which, by the way, it does, when people demand it out loud. Malloy got 8. Trent got 5. Reed caught a Rayco 12. Numbers aren't joy, but they're boundaries. You can build something inside them. Alvarez, she got promoted interim captain under the consent decree. First week, she pulled Riverstones out of the lobby planners and put in a sign, "Know Your Rights," laminated in 3 languages. She invited the neighborhood association from the side of town that always got invited and the one that never did. Training changed. Cameras stayed on asset forfeiture, went from piggy bank to paperwork. People didn't cheer, they watched. Trust doesn't return like an Amazon package. It shows up with questions and stays when you answer. Me, I went back to my desk at 2 in the morning the next day, hair still smelling like holding cell thumb, still striped from the print glass. I picked up the scattered briefs the rain hadn't eaten and finished the motion I meant to finish before the headlights. When you do this long enough, you learn justice isn't thunder. It's rain on a roof you repair one shingle at a time. Do I wish any of it felt cleaner? Sure. But I also remember Trent's face when he realized the room wasn't laughing with him anymore, and Reed's hands shaking when she understood the call wasn't hers to make. That's not revenge, that's gravity. You don't have to cheer for gravity. You just have to stop pretending it doesn't exist. People still ask me if I was scared. I was. Not of the cuffs, of the feeling that nothing would happen, that I'd go home and they'd do it to someone with less language and more to lose. That fear's louder than sirens. That's the one I fight. So here's the part where I hand the mic to you, because one voice is a story, but a chorus is a reckoning. What would you call what happened on that roadside, good policing, bad apples, or the system doing exactly what it was built to do? If you've ever been stopped for fitting a neighborhood more than a description, tell us what you saw, what you felt, what changed in you. Drop your state, your city, your truth in the comments. If you think accountability protects everyone, including the good cops who want to go home proud, say so, argue it, fight me about it if you need to. Hit subscribe, share it with the one friend who swears none of this happens anymore, and let's see if we can't turn one long night into something a little better than a headline.